Have you ever felt like you were somehow born looking at the world through a different lens? Like while everyone else seems to be running from one thing to the next, you are standing still, noticing things that others overlook. Maybe you pick up on small details, the way someone hesitates before speaking, the quiet sadness behind a smile, the heaviness of a room before anyone says a word. Maybe moments stay with you longer than they stay with others. A simple act of kindness can move you to tears. Sharp word can echo in your mind for hours. The highs feel higher, the lows feel lower, and it can seem like you're always carrying more than those around you. For many empaths, this is a familiar experience. It is a quiet sense of being different, not in a way that is bad, but in a way that makes you feel like you're living life at a different depth. Some call it being an old soul, that feeling that you have been here before, that you have a perspective that is somehow beyond your years, that you're carrying wisdom and awareness that you cannot quite explain. And while this can be a beautiful way to experience the world, it can also feel heavy. When you're noticing everything, you are also feeling everything. The beauty, yes, but also the pain. The joy, yes, but also the tension. And sometimes that can make life feel overwhelming, as if you're holding on to things you were never meant to carry. This video is for anyone who has ever felt this way, for anyone who has felt out of step, who has wondered why they seem to experience life so deeply, who has felt like they were somehow born with a heart that is both a gift and a responsibility. Today we are going to explore why empaths often feel like old souls, what that really means, and how you can begin to embrace this part of yourself rather than feeling weighed down by it. Together, we will talk about the depth of empathic perception, the weight of constant awareness, the natural longing for meaning that empaths often feel, the comfort and necessity of solitude, and the beautiful but sometimes challenging truth that this way of being is both a light and a burden. And most importantly, we will talk about how to embrace this unique way of experiencing life so that it feels empowering rather than exhausting. So if you have ever felt different, if you have ever felt like you are carrying something inside you that sets you apart, stay with me. This conversation is for you. Chapter 1. The depth of empathic perception. When you are an empath, life is never just happening on the surface. You're not just watching events unfold. You're feeling them in your body, carrying them in your heart, and processing them in your mind long after they're over. It is as if the world speaks to you in a language most people do not even notice. You hear it in the subtle change in someone's voice when they say they're fine, but you know they are not. You feel it when you walk into a room and sense whether it holds joy, tension, or sadness. You experience it when a simple moment moves you to tears, a small kindness, a quiet gesture, or the beauty of light through a window. This depth of perception makes every moment feel bigger, richer, and more layered. While others may take life in large, sweeping strokes, you're noticing the fine brushwork, the small details, the quiet moments in between. This is why being an empath often feels like being an old soul. You're not just living your life. You are experiencing the lives of everyone around you, feeling the invisible threads that connect us all. And this is not just about emotions. It can also be about noticing the world with incredible sensitivity. You might be the person who feels the change in the air before a storm arrives, who hears the faintest sound that others miss, who catches the quiet flicker of worry in someone's eyes before they speak. Your senses are finely tuned, and that creates a constant stream of information. Sometimes this gift can be overwhelming. It can feel like you're carrying too much at once. The laughter, the sadness, the fear, the joy, all of it lands on you, and your mind and heart work tirelessly to make sense of it all. But it is also what makes life so vivid for you. It is what allows you to see meaning where others might see only routine. You may even notice that this has been true for you from an early age. Perhaps you were the quiet observer, the child who seemed to notice everything and feel everything more intensely than others. Perhaps people around you have always commented on how thoughtful, intuitive, or caring you seem. These moments are not accidents. They are reflections of your natural depth. This kind of perception can create a sense of maturity that makes you feel older on the inside than your actual years. While others may rush through life, you're often thinking about what it all means. You're asking yourself questions that many people do not consider until much later in life, about purpose, connection, and what truly matters. And this is why you may find yourself described as an old soul. Chapter 2. The Weight of Awareness. When you feel so much and notice so much, there is a natural weight that comes with it. Life does not just pass by. It sits with you. Every moment has a kind of gravity, even the small ones. A passing remark from someone might stay with you for hours. The look on a stranger's face might linger in your mind. The tension in a room might feel almost physical to you, like something you're carrying in your own body. This awareness is a double-edged gift. On one hand, it gives you a rare insight into the human experience. You can see through the surface to what's really happening. You often sense when someone needs comfort, even when they do not ask for it. You can pick up on what others miss, and that can make you a steady presence for the people around you. But on the other hand, this depth of awareness can become exhausting. When you are constantly tuned into everything, you are also constantly processing. Many empaths describe it as feeling like a sponge, soaking up everything around them, whether they want to or not. This can make a simple day feel heavy. You might come home after spending time in a busy space and feel inexplicably tired, not because of what you did, but because of everything you felt. This is part of why empaths often feel older than they are. When you carry so much emotional information, it can make you feel as though you have lived through many more experiences than your actual life has given you. It can feel like you have been through more simply because you feel more. And that heaviness can make you crave stillness and peace, places where you can put that weight down for a while. It is not just the struggles you notice, though. You also notice the beauty others overlook. The way light reflects on water, the sound of someone's laugh, the quiet moments that make life feel profound. But even beauty can be overwhelming when you are always absorbing everything. The world is bright, and sometimes that brightness is too much. The weight of awareness can also make you feel separate from others. When you're noticing layers of experience that others are not even aware of, it can create a quiet sense of being different. You might wonder why others do not see what you see, why they can move through life so lightly while you feel so much more. And that difference can make you feel as though you're walking through life on a slightly different path, one that is slower, deeper, and more reflective. This is why it is so important for empaths to understand this part of themselves. It is not a weakness to feel this much. It is not a flaw to be so aware, but it does mean you need to take care of yourself in ways that others may not need to. Chapter 3. a natural desire for meaning. When you live with this much awareness, you cannot help but search for meaning in everything you experience. Life does not feel random to you. Each interaction, each moment, each challenge seems to carry something inside it that you're meant to notice. Empaths are often the ones who stay awake at night, thinking about conversations, wondering what someone truly meant, replaying moments to understand them better. It is not overthinking just for the sake of it. It is your heart's way of trying to make sense of what you feel. This search for meaning shapes the way you see the world. While others may be content to let things pass by, you want to know why things happen the way they do. You want to find the lesson in a hard experience, the message in a coincidence, the growth in a painful moment. You are always asking what this moment is teaching you, what it is showing you about yourself and the world. This longing for meaning is part of what makes empaths feel like old souls. You are not satisfied with surface-level living. You want depth. You want conversations that open up new ways of thinking. You want moments that matter, moments that feel like they add to the story of who you are becoming. And because of this, you may sometimes feel restless or disconnected when life feels too shallow. This desire for meaning can also make you a seeker of truth. You may find yourself drawn to books, ideas, art, or conversations that help you understand life on a deeper level. You might journal or reflect quietly to untangle your thoughts. You might ask questions that other people have not considered yet. These habits are not just hobbies. They are your way of making life feel real and worthwhile. But this deep search can sometimes feel lonely. When you're looking for meaning and others are content to stay on the surface, it can create a sense of being out of sync. It can make you feel like you are speaking a different language, one that not everyone understands. Yet it is also what gives you that quiet wisdom that others notice. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about this desire for meaning is that it makes you grateful for the small things. You do not just rush past a sunrise. You stop and watch it. You do not just hear a kind word. You feel it, let it sink in and carry it with you. This ability to find depth in ordinary moments is what gives life its richness. This search for meaning is not a burden. It is a compass. It helps you navigate the world in a way that feels true to who you are. It helps you choose what matters and leave behind what does not. And it reminds you, even in difficult times, that there is something to be learned, something to be discovered, something worth holding on to. Chapter 4. Finding Peace in Solitude. When you feel everything so deeply, time alone becomes more than just a preference. It becomes essential. Solitude is where you can finally put down what you have been carrying, where the noise of other people's emotions fades and you can hear your own voice again. For an empath, this is not about isolation or avoiding life. It is about creating space to breathe, to process, and to reconnect with yourself. After a day of absorbing so much, the laughter, the stress, the unspoken feelings, your inner world can feel full. It is almost as if you are holding dozens of little threads of other people's experiences and you need quiet time to gently untangle them. Solitude gives you the chance to release what is not yours to hold and to sort through what truly belongs to you. This is why empaths often crave quiet environments. A slow morning with a cup of tea, a walk through a quiet park, an evening spent reading or journaling. These moments are not just pleasant, they are restorative. They refill your energy, clear your mind and allow your heart to feel steady again. Spending time alone also helps you reconnect with what you truly want. When you are constantly surrounded by others, it can be hard to know where their emotions end and yours begin. Solitude allows you to notice what is yours, your feelings, your desires, your opinions. It is where you remember that you are not just a reflection of the world around you, but a person with your own voice and choices. And yet, this need for solitude can sometimes make empaths feel misunderstood. Others might wonder why you're quiet or why you need to step away. But this alone time is not about pulling back from connection. It is about preserving it. By taking care of yourself, you ensure that when you do show up for others, you can do so with presence, with clarity, and with genuine care. In solitude, you also find creativity. Many empaths discover that their best ideas, their deepest insights, and their clearest decisions come when they are alone. This quiet space becomes a well of inspiration, a place where they can reflect and dream without distraction. Solitude, then, is not empty. It is full. It is full of clarity, healing, and a return to yourself. It is in this quiet space that you gather your strength so you can go back into the world with a heart that is open but not overwhelmed. Chapter 5. The Gift and the Challenge. Being an empath is both a light and a weight. It is the ability to notice beauty where others might pass by, to feel someone's joy as if it were your own, to offer comfort without needing words. It is what makes you the person who notices the quiet person in the room, the one who senses when something is wrong, the one who can offer compassion in moments when it matters most. This is the gift of being an empath, a heart that is open, a mind that is curious, and a soul that is deeply connected to life. But it is also a challenge, because when you feel everything so fully, you sometimes carry more than you're meant to. You may find yourself holding on to the heaviness of other people's struggles long after they have moved on. You may feel responsible for making things right, even when it is not something you can fix. And you may feel worn out by the intensity of life, as if the world is asking too much of you. This is where the old soul feeling becomes so strong. You have experienced so much through your empathy that you may feel far older than your years. There is a gravity to your presence, a depth to your way of being that others notice. And while this depth is a beautiful thing, it can sometimes make you feel separate, like you're watching the world go by rather than moving with it. The key is learning to hold both the gift and the challenge together, to recognize that your empathy is not something you need to get rid of, but something you need to care for. It is learning how to open your heart without letting it be drained, how to offer your presence without losing your energy, how to honor your need for rest as much as you honor your ability to show up for others. When you find this balance, your empathy becomes your superpower. It becomes the thing that helps you create meaningful connections, live with integrity, and notice the beauty that others miss. It becomes a strength rather than a source of exhaustion. And that is the moment you stop seeing being an empath as a burden and start seeing it as a calling to live with depth, kindness, and intention. If you have ever felt like you were born seeing the world through a different lens, like you notice what others miss, like you carry a quiet wisdom inside you that you cannot quite explain, know that this is not an accident and it is not a flaw. It is the heart of what it means to be an empath. You are someone who experiences life in full color, someone who cannot ignore the unspoken emotions that ripple beneath the surface, someone who finds meaning even in the smallest of moments. Being an empath can sometimes feel like a heavy path to walk. There are days when you might wonder why you feel so deeply when others seem so unaffected. There are moments when the world feels too loud, too fast, too harsh for a heart like yours. And yet, this depth you carry is what makes you extraordinary. It is what allows you to connect, to care, and to bring comfort and understanding into spaces where they are so often missing. When you begin to understand this about yourself, something shifts. You stop fighting against the parts of you that feel too sensitive. You stop trying to keep up with a world that seems to want you to move faster than your heart allows. Instead, you begin to slow down. You begin to honor what you need. Moments of quiet, time to process, space to breathe. You begin to let go of the weight that is not yours to carry and hold on to the things that truly matter to you. This is where your empathy transforms from something that drains you into something that strengthens you. It becomes a compass rather than a burden, guiding you toward relationships, environments, and choices that allow you to thrive. It teaches you to draw boundaries with kindness, to protect your energy without closing your heart, to offer compassion without giving away pieces of yourself that leave you empty. When you embrace this part of yourself fully, you begin to live with intention. You notice what brings you peace, and you make more room for it. You pay attention to the moments that light you up, and you seek them out. You stop chasing a life that is built for someone else and begin to build a life that fits who you are at your core. And perhaps most importantly, you stop apologizing for being different. You stop seeing your sensitivity as something that needs to be fixed and start seeing it as the quiet strength that makes you exactly who you are meant to be. Because the world needs hearts like yours. It needs people who notice, who care, who are willing to walk through life awake rather than numb. It needs people who remind us to slow down, to feel, and to treat each other with kindness. So if you have ever felt like you do not quite fit, like you are walking at a slower, deeper pace than everyone else, trust that this is not a mistake. You are not behind. You are not too much. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are the reminder that there is beauty in stillness, wisdom in feeling, and strength in living with a heart that remains open. Let this be the moment you give yourself permission to honor your old soul nature, to create a life that feels calm, meaningful, and true, to protect your peace, to nurture your energy, and to let your empathy guide you, not into exhaustion, but into a life that feels like home.